Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Omega Constellation Globemaster stainless steel and rose gold. You can see this METAS certified master chronometer and own it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Omega Constellation Globemaster. Now, this watch was the star of Baselworld 2015 at the Omega display. Not just a revival of the celebrated Pi-Pan constellation, it was also the first commercial implementation of the Omega Master Chronometer standard, a higher than COSC standard of precision, not just for the movement, but the entire cased watch, developed in conjunction with the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology. We'll talk more about that in a moment when we discuss caliber 8900, but let's talk about the fit and the feel of the timepiece. It is bigger than its historical forebear. 39 millimeters across the round of the case, not including the crown. It is reasonably slim on the wrist, 12.8 millimeters thick with a sloped and fluted rose gold bezel, so it will slip underneath a dress cuff. And from lug to lug, a very compact 46.6 millimeters, such that I would say you could wear this on a wrist down to a size of 13.5 centimeters in circumference with absolute security and comfort. Now, the only reason I wouldn't say smaller is because there is a little bit of flare to the strap. In the way it joins with the case flanks, it is somewhat constrained. It can't pull straight down. Therefore, rather than a 13 centimeter wrist, I would say 13.5 is the lower limit to wear this one securely. But the strap is beautifully made, very substantial. You can see it features sheer cut sides that taper down to a folded edge with a monotone stitch, navy blue with rectangular scale alligator leather and a very supple calfskin on the underside. You can see it's matched with an Omega alternately satin and polished stainless steel clasp, twin trigger actuated so it won't pop open by accident, not friction fit. It also features a minderless system, so excess strap length is tucked underneath the body of the clasp, eliminating the need for minder loops on the remainder of the strap. It's simply but beautifully finished, principally in a satin execution, brushed along its flanks as well as on the lug hoods. But you can see there is a beautiful hairline bevel that runs not just the length of the case, but also the lip of the bezel. And if you can see, there's a small amount of polish to the case back where it abuts the flank of the center case. Now, the watch is beautifully executed. It's all sharp lines. There are some very subtle curves and arcs, but this watch is masculine. It is sharp, even a little bit severe in its definition of character lines. Sensuous it is not, but it is very impressive, like a tailored suit, superbly pressed and creased. The case and the bezel form essentially a frame for the highlight of the timepiece, and you can see even it features a certain well-loved, historically wrought sort of angularity to it. You can see the Pi-Pan facets when I hold it at this angle relative to the light, and it is that series of facets around the indices, all rose gold and hand applied, that really give this watch its historical character. From the front it looks a bit flat, but when you see it in person, especially in oblique light, it takes on many different dimensions, and that dial really comes alive. You can see the Omega marquee is also applied, and Globemaster written in a vintage style font with vintage style baton hands at center, and a lancet seconds hand also in rose gold with applied rose gold star at 6 o'clock, anchored by a beautifully discreet and faceted date window with a monotone navy blue date disc. The dial itself features a sort of matte metallic that is absolutely gorgeous, and in tandem with the rose gold forms this watch's superb tritone of silver, rose gold, and blue. Turn it all over, and you can see another historical homage element, the observatory. Once the symbol of the 1952 Omega, which was an observatory chronometer, today it signifies the implementation of the master chronometer standard. Caliber 8500 becomes 8900. The 39-jewel twin-barrel automatic with a 60-hour power reserve is now tested against magnetism, shock, for power reserve, winding efficiency, and water resistance, as well as chronometry, but as a fully cased up watch, not as the bare movement tested by the Swiss COSC chronometer standard. You'll note a full balance bridge with a free-sprung index. Thus, the watch is able to take a very precise regulation at the point of assembly and against shocks, disruptions, and concussion on the wrist, it's very good at holding that precise regulation. It winds bidirectionally, so there's no rotor wobble when you wear this one on the wrist, unlike a unidirectional winder. And thanks to its twin mainspring barrels, it has a very even release of power for the duration of that 60-hour reserve. That's the benefit of twin barrels, a longer reserve and more even release of torque to the escapement. It does feature an SI-14 silicon hairspring and balance, thus the watch featuring amagnetic properties, essentially immune to the effects of magnetism that are a pitfall of conventional mechanical watchmaking. It also features the time zone function that you may remember from the 8500. First, you can pull the crown to extremity, hack the watch, stop the seconds, set it to a reference time, but you can also pull the crown out one detent and run the hour hand forward or backwards while the movement continues to operate, thus driving the date forward or backwards as you travel and jump the international date line. A handsome watch and one quite appropriate for formal attire. Nevertheless, even with its push-down crown and its dress style, the watch is 100 meters water resistant, meaning put it on a bracelet or a water-resistant band, and it's also a very versatile watch that can play borderline sportster when pressed into service. You can see and you can own this timepiece on our website.